What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight I have for you a verse devotion. Tonight's verse devotion is in Psalms 27, verse 11. I'll give you a few seconds to get there. My voice seems a little raspy because it is right now, and I'm drinking water to make up for it. And in Psalm 27, verse 11, it says, "Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies." Teach me thy way, O Lord. Now, that is a way of being humble and going into humility, because you are saying that you are higher than me, Lord. My way isn't cutting it, but teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. In Proverbs 3 verses 5, it says that do not lean on your own understanding, but lean on God's understanding. And in verse 6, it speaks about his ways being higher than our ways and being more righteous in his ways than our ways. And so, when we go to God and learning his ways, we become more humble because of the process that we go through. And lead me in a plain path. There's a reason why the plain path, it is the right path. But at times it may seem boring to you because we are born into sin. We're born into wanting things that aren't of God, that aren't natural to God. Let's say people that fall into pornography, that go into masturbate, go into fornication, that gamble, even rob people, steal. They do all those things because they like doing it. The instant gratification that it may give them for doing something that is basically a thrill to them. But being good is harder in the flesh because how long it takes. See, when we're living in sin, we are living in a short-term way. But with God, we live in the long term. We think in the long term. But in sin, we think in the short term, the instant gratification. The plain path may seem boring because of how much that we may have to sit and grow and get closer to God before we can actually go out and evangelize, minister, pastor, whatever the case may be, whatever your purpose may be. Because of mine enemies, it says, because sometimes we may get surrounded, but know that the plain path is there for a reason. Very few people will walk it. Many people may try, but many won't succeed. That is why the road to hell is broad, but the road to heaven, or road to life, is very narrow, because very few can make it and walk it. But do not let your enemies don't let your enemies get to you, because your enemies could vary from, your own family, your own friends, maybe even strangers that walk up to you because the devil sent them, right? But remember Matthew 5, and I believe Luke 6. It speaks about the persecution and rejoice in it, because if you're being persecuted for your own beliefs, you're doing something right by the grace of God, because Jesus was persecuted for what he was doing multiple times, and even after he died and rose from the dead, many other Christians afterwards, believing in God righteously, the 12 disciples, only one of them, John of Patmos, survived. And that was in his God allowed him to survive a attempted martyr. Basically, I believe he was covered in tar and was to put on fire. Something along those lines. He was the only one that survived, and then he got outside of Patmos, where he wrote Revelations. But this is to further prove that we are persecuted more so for our beliefs, but do not let the enemy get to you, and keep going in God's way. And even if the path may seem plain, it is a lot better than what it will be when you first start. It will be a lot better at the end of it, because when we get to the end of it, we'll be in heaven. Even before that, it will always get better no matter what. There's always ups and downs, but you decide on how you want to take life. You want to take life into hell, or you want to take life into heaven. That's going to be the choice for you. You want to go through life going into hell, or live through life going into heaven. And I'll end it off there, because this is a little long, but I pray y'all have a good rest of your night. God bless you. I love y'all, and don't forget that Jesus loved you more. Amen and amen.